Hello, everybody. I am Marlisha, also known as Marlisha Muses, and this is my booktube channel, Marlisha's Meanderings. And I just thought I would pop in to do a couple of very shallow book reviews on a couple of books that I either finished or made use of. Okay, so the first one, this is not going to be a very long video because it's not going to be very detailed this time around. But the first book I wanted to talk about was Pope Francis's Hope, the Autobiography. Okay, I got this about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. My spiritual director suggested I read it so I could get a better handle on what influenced the Holy Father and the way he looked at things. I have to say I wasn't really surprised by what I read, and the main thing that this book did was to clarify a bit where he was coming from, what factors influenced his growing up and his mindset and his worldview and things like that. He was very partial to the downtrodden and the migrant and the poor and those who were marginalized, which are all good things. And while I didn't maybe understand everything that he was doing or what he was saying, I did get a more clear idea of what informed his actions and his words, which was very good. That was helpful. The writing itself was easy to understand, although I did sometimes find it to be a bit convoluted, going back from the past to the near past to the present to the past again, and that happened occasionally. It could be a little disconcerting, but nothing major. It's a pretty quick read, and there are many pictures in here which are nice. It's a very nice hardcover book, and I did enjoy it for the most part. As I said, it held no surprises. It wasn't really a book I wanted to read, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. And so it is a hardcover book, and it's by the Holy Father, but I think he had, let's see here, trying to find the name of the person who wrote this with him. Of course, you can't find things when you want to find them, because that would be easy. Okay, the co-author is Carlo Musso. Well, let's put the glasses on, shall we? Yeah, the author is Carlo Musso. So the Holy Father did have help writing this, although everything is his. It's his autobiography. So, yeah, you might, if you're interested in the Holy Father, either as a Catholic or just as someone who's interested in Pope Francis, this might be a book for you to take a look at, because it's his own thoughts and ideas. It's an autobiography as opposed to a biography. He did have help writing it, but I think it would be enlightening for you. That's going to go to my parents who want to read that. So that's why I wanted to get this booktube off to you. Okay. The next one I am showing you for a review. I haven't read it completely because it doesn't lend itself to being read as a book. Okay. You might recognize this bag from the last time I showed it here. When I did, I think it was Hobbies on the Bookshelf. I think it was when I did that. Or maybe it was when I got this book. I don't know. But anyway, the book I want to review is the No So mini amigurumi book. Hey, I said it right this time. How about that? By Jenna Tattoo. I think it's Tattoo. T-A-T-U. Creator of Crochet by Jenna. And there are 40 crochet patterns for super cute, super small plushies. So I showed this book, I don't know, maybe about 3 weeks ago, maybe? I don't know, I'm not sure. And I think you probably remember this pattern. I did finish one. I'm not sure I like the way it turned out. I think that the yarn I used had something to do with it. It's very, very soft plush kind of yarn, and it looks like she uses that yarn as well, but my gauge tends to be, how big the stitches are, tends to be bigger than a lot of other people, so maybe I could have used a different hook. You can see that there are places here where you can see the stuffing in it, and I made a mistake here with the the stripe here being bigger than the one here. But all in all, the pattern was fairly easy to follow, but there were parts that were unclear. There were parts at the end when she tells you to close up the bottom. Usually there's like a little hole where you put the stuffing in. The way she had it written didn't really work for me. I showed it to my daughter as well, because Talia from Talia Nerds Out is a crochet toy designer. So I asked her if I was reading it wrong, and she said no. She told me, you know, what she thought, and so I just ended up kind of winging it to close it up on the bottom here. And you can't really tell, so that's good. And there were other places too where, let me think, I'm trying to think where the other part was, because I don't want to tell you anything that I shouldn't. There was one other place that was a little bit difficult to decipher. You kind of had to know what you're doing. These are beginner-friendly patterns, but it kind of assumes that you have some knowledge. I mean, she does put in, like, if you, like this stitch here is called a bobble, and she does tell you how to do that. But other things like closing it up, it wasn't clear. And so if you don't know how to do that, and you don't have a way to find out, then you're kind of up a creek without a paddle. But in general, I found it easy to follow. I would suggest using some other kind of yarn and, you know, seeing how tight it is. You want it to be tight so it doesn't show the stitches, and this didn't say that. Now, again, this says tiny amigurumi, mini amigurumi, tiny little toys, right? Super cute, super small plushies. This is not super small, okay? It's cute and it's small, but it's not super small, all right? So all in all, this is a nice book. I will probably still use it. I might even make this bee again, but I will use a different yarn and a different hook and see if I have better results that way. And then once I'm more familiar with this person, I might do some of these other things, like the hamster. It's not a hamster, the chipmunk or whatever it is. Here, let me see. I can't get it to, there it is. Oh, it's a guinea pig. You know, something like that. These are very, very simple. So that's basically my review. It's very, very short. I just wanted to touch base with you. I will be doing an update on my progress for the summer read-alongs in the future, but in the meantime, I wanted to say hi and show you the books I finished and what I thought about them. So thank you for joining me in my meanderings. I wish you a wonderful day, and I will see you later. God bless. Bye.